Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Yes, the hair is down today. There is no hat happening on this video. Today we're going to be discussing the viral live video of Oliver Anthony, his song Richmond North of Richmond, which is actually a pretty slick name. I kind of like it. It is a solo folk performance, one guy, one guitar, and he sings a song talking about the men of power in Washington, D.C. who run our lives and not really helping the poor or middle class people. I don't know all of the origin, but from what I can tell, it seems as though this was released on this YouTube channel called Radio West Virginia, and that got picked up by Matt Walsh on his show and shared around, and then it just went around right-wing circles and has been blowing up. It has how many million views as of now? It has 7.1 million views as of recording this, and that's in 4 days. That's pretty freaking insane. And they did another song with Oliver Anthony here that has almost 900,000 streams in 2 days. I expect that will break 1 million easy. It seems as though the right wing and the populists have been sharing this song around, and it seems to resonate a lot with that side. Unless I'm missing something, I haven't seen much of anything from the left wing on this at all. At the most, I've been seeing some passing comments like, lol, look at poor stupid man. But this really seems to be hitting a chord with people, pun intended. And I don't really 100% know why, but we're going to evaluate that. But just really quickly, I'll give you a simple music analysis. There's really not much to this one. Again, it's one guy, one guitar, he sings, he plays chords with a little bit of leading phrasing in between, a little bit of counter melodies on the guitar, but nothing really crazy. It's what you would expect from Appalachian folk. His voice has a strong backwoods Appalachian accent to it, which compared to a lot of other artists out there, this one feels quite genuine. There's something somewhat refreshing about that.
Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the whole beast milking welfare.
When he tries to hit some of the top notes, he kind of breaks up a little bit, doesn't quite hit the pitch. I do that fairly frequently myself, so, you know, not shaming him, just saying, little things like that kind of bring out more of the human quality to it.
Living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
And at the end of the day, I think that's a spark of the appeal, kind of the heart of it. It's a guy talking about the problems that he sees and feels on a daily basis coming from how the country is run, and it doesn't come across like a musician trying to get out there and make a music career. It comes across as just a simple man who lives in the backwoods, who's had enough, picked up a guitar and wrote a song about it. Now, maybe it's just because I am a music professional and I live in Nashville. These types of things kind of are a dime a dozen to me. And it's not to, again, put him down or anything. This whole, it feels real. It feels like an honest, simple man just doing his thing and just saying how he feels about things. That is such a trope here that it just goes in one ear and out the other for me. I've seen it too much. And I'm wondering why the hype is so strong with this, because there's been a whole lot of right-wing populist songs coming out in the last 5 to 7 years. I didn't take time to compile a ton of them, but I mean, they have been out there. Tom MacDonald has been notorious for this. He's made a whole career around this, let's be honest. And there's nothing groundbreaking happening here musically either. Like, he didn't invent the wheel. He didn't even reinvent the wheel. He just kind of did a thing. Well, that's the whole point, Mike, is nothing special. It's just a normal guy doing his thing. Okay, but really? Let me be clear. I have no problem with this song whatsoever. I have no issue with the style or how it's presented. I don't think there's anything dishonest happening. But I mean, this stuff's been around for a long time. I heard a quote from a right-wing media outlet. This makes the mainstream music industry look embarrassing, that just a simple guy with a guitar can come out and make something way more engaging and interesting than anything they've done. I don't buy that for half a second. That feels like such a cope. When you say something like that, it really just makes you look more embarrassing. Folk music has been happening all around us constantly. Stuff that I think is more interesting than this. I mean, this is basically just a new paint job on Tyler Childers, which is, he's great. It's the same idea. That stuff's been around. That stuff's highly popular. What makes this so special? I think we are just immediately looking past the fact that you just agree with the political message. Like, I can get people getting chills from this to a degree because it is the right kind of person delivering it the right kind of way as opposed to a more mainstream way.
Oh,
I got chills.
me too.
I understand that. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me just because I've seen all this already. And maybe that's a me problem. But at the same time, I would greatly encourage you, please go find more folk music, more good folk music. There's lots of great stuff out there. I would highly recommend Nickel Creek personally, especially for people who might not really be into folk or like more complicated technical kind of music. It hits this beautiful middle ground between a post-jazz era of music art and the roots of Americana, if you will. I've yet to find a person who dislikes Nickel Creek. The stuff is fabulous, so good. The thing that pisses me off the most is they're from California! Just joking, of course, but either way. From a musical perspective, this has been done constantly around us. From the political messaging perspective, this has been done constantly around us. I don't think it's that brave for a guy who has no music career to speak of and lives in West Virginia to come out and say, government bad, DC terrible. We should not be giving money to people who don't work, you know? It doesn't seem that brave to me. Again, I can completely understand this message resonating with a lot of people, as a matter of fact, even though I factually disagree with the whole, you know, you have this tiny fat guy who's just eating his government subsidized bonbons and not working. I'm out here busting my ass and barely making any money at all. While I would say, factually speaking, that's the least of our problems. That's not the thing to be focused on. It does have an effective emotional message that people will resonate with. And sometimes that's more important than trying to turn people towards what the actual problems are. And I think this does also speak to people across aisle, maybe not as much a lot of the newer progressive Democrat side of things, but definitely across aisle, I think it would speak to them. It could very well be a marriage of right person, right place, right time, and it just hit a happy medium. I still think y'all should really reconsider what kind of art you're consuming. If you're having trouble finding good stuff, it's really not that hard if you try. I mean, this goes back to the point of the end of my last video. It's the audience's responsibility to consume better stuff, you know? Maybe I also have a unique perspective on this as well, because I mean, I live in Nashville. I have a bunch of friends who work in mainstream pop and country, and there are a lot of these populist right-wing songs that make it around these circles that never get published. Again, it's easier for this guy who's a rando to publish a song like this because he doesn't have any existing relationships to risk, just future relationships, which like whoop-de-doo. A lot of the guys that I know have established relationships that the people themselves that they work with might not really care that much, but the people that they know might care a little more. So they kind of just keep it hush hush, or they find out an alternate way of getting these songs out there, which is sad, frankly, but is what it is. I guess that also reconfirms that, you know, these right-wing populist sentiments are there, and it's mostly by people who either don't want to talk about it or don't want to focus on politics, or by people who are afraid to speak out because they just want to get by and not put any risk to their family or career. I know I have a decent amount of lefties who watch this channel. I mean, if you don't think that that's a real fear, I would say, guys, you should probably reconsider. So I guess to wrap all of these disparate ideas into a greater theme and conclusion, I would say, if this really spoke to you, that speaks more to how ignorant you are of how much fabulous music with great messages is already out there, that this put you over the edge. There's a ton of guys who already do the I'm just a dude with a guitar, very honest, authentic, raw thing. There's a ton of guys who already do the political right-wing populist messaging, and there's tons of crossover there. I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. Yet more reasons why you should tune in to my weekend live streams, because we discover tons of fantastic music over there. So like, I don't have any problem that y'all like this song, but I'm kind of just reconfirmed that most people that don't really give a shit about music, and it's kind of sad. It took your political biases being confirmed to lean into good stuff. And I get people are having a hard time right now. The economy is very stagnant. It's probably going to take a substantial downturn here pretty soon. Well aware of that, feeling it big time myself. And this song is exceedingly empathetic towards that. Having said that, there are way better songs out there, man. The Richmond North of Richmond line is delicious. Really like that a lot. But the rest of it seems pretty typical. Either way, those are my thoughts on it. Love you guys very much. Stay awesome.